This is the 2018 Ford F-150 Supercrew 4x4 Platinum Edition Diesel. Yes, Ford has finally seen the light and put a proper diesel into the F-150. The power unit in this vehicle is a 3-liter V6 Power-Stroke turbo diesel. Here it puts out 250 horsepower and 440 pound-feet of torque. Now, if those numbers sound familiar, and if this engine sounds familiar, it's because it is a cousin of the same motor that Ford sells to Jaguar Land Rover. However, here it's been completely redesigned specifically for truck use. That means that this F-150 can haul up to 2,020 pounds in the bed, or tow up to 11,400 pounds. Pretty good for a light-duty rig. As equipped here, the EPA rates this setup at 17 miles to the gallon city, 23 on the highway. That bests a comparably equipped 2017 Ram 1500 Limited with the EcoDiesel V6. That one only scored 15 city, 22 highway. Of course, Ram is working on an all-new turbo diesel for 2019, so next year should be interesting. In the back, we have even more goodies. The tailgate is smooth like butter. This particular one has had the spray-on bed liner. You can either get it as an insert or as a spray-on. The spray-on is the more expensive option. Plus, step to get up, very nice. Once we're up here, we can see that there are tie-downs on all 4 corners, and this even has the optional bed extension. Just flip that into place. And then these lock. The truck we are testing today is also equipped with a dual-range 4-wheel drive system, a rear locking differential, 20-inch wheels, and lots of accessories. But this is the thing I don't quite understand. Why does it have the off-road package, which includes underbody protection as well as off-road tuned suspension, plus all this chrome, especially these 20-inch chrome wheels? It seems a bit much. Because this is a crew cab edition, there is plenty of room for full-size adults back here. Plus, if I need room for cargo, I just flip up the seat. It's that easy. Want to put them down? There you go. And once inside, you get an armrest with pop-out cup holders. I even get my own USB plugs as well as an AC power unit. Furthermore, I even get heated seats in the back. It's kind of nice. If you've been inside an F-150 in the last few years, this interior will be no surprise. Since this is a Platinum Edition, we get some little nameplates here on the seat. We also have contrast stitching and, of course, leather on all the touch points, which is really nice. Front and center up here, we have an 8-inch touchscreen display. It does support multi-touch for pinching and zooming, as well as all of the standards that you would really expect in a modern vehicle. It does have built-in maps, which is great when you go off-grid. It also has SiriusXM Travel Link and some other goodies. One feature that I really like in modern vehicles is Apple Carplay, and this one is not a disappointment. Basically, I just plug in here, plug in down here. It is a little tight for big hands, actually. That's a little surprising. And boom, I get the Apple CarPlay interface that I'm used to. Now this also supports Android Auto if you prefer to use Android devices. You know, whatever's up to you, that's fine. I'm not gonna judge. I'm judging. Additional features on this model include a surround view camera, which is really cool. It also has a backup camera that also has a tow hitch assist, because this one comes with the tow package. And speaking of tow packages, I got the trailer backup brake right down here, which is really neat. Now moving on down here, we have, of course, all the aircon controls. This vehicle doesn't just have heated seats, it has cooled seats too, which is kind of nice on a warm day like today. Everything else is pretty standard. Now this trim here has brushed aluminum, and quite a lot of it. That's because this is the top end Platinum. That's why this vehicle costs just south of $70,000. Now, you don't have to spend that much. If you want a diesel, you don't have to spend $70,000. You can get the Lariat, which is a more entry-level model with the V6 turbo diesel, and that one you can get for about $45,000. So you have options, which is good. This, of course, has the new Ford 10-speed automatic transmission, and it is a transmission with a purpose, and that purpose is economy. You need a lot of speeds to get good economy, and this one actually does get pretty good economy. We've seen on the drive up here, averaging 22 miles to the gallon. Now let's talk about that four-wheel drive system. Now to go into 4 high, I just switch it again. To go into 4 low, I switch it again. And if I want to engage that rear diff locker, I just pull it. Talk about easy. No more getting out into the mud, locking your hubs. No more anything of any effort whatsoever, actually. It's super easy. Now, this truck does have a ton of features. So it's good that they kind of condense everything you need to know into this multi-function color display in the dash here. So I get this little joystick controller on the left, and this lets me toggle through key points with the system. We have truck info, which gives me, tire pressure, diesel exhaust fluid status. Yes, you do have to keep up on the urea on this to keep those emissions down. Moving over, we have the towing status, so I can look at, it even has a connection checklist, which is great. You don't tow very often, you forget what you need to do. It's right here, and I can even say, am I hooking up a conventional, a fifth wheel, or a gooseneck? Great for people who don't tow very often. The next screen, off-road. Now what this does is it lets me pop up an off-road status screen that shows me the exact status of my all-wheel drive system, as well as the lean and the yaw and the tilt of the vehicle. Very useful when you're off-roading. The final screen is all about safety, and this feature is again loaded with the entire catalog of Ford's current safety portfolio. We have pre-collision, we have lane keep assist, we have adaptive cruise control, we have collision mitigation, we have blind spot monitoring, we have backup warnings. I mean, it's got it. But today, we're not gonna look at the street-going stuff of this vehicle. This is an off-road edition, granted with a lot of bling added as well. No, instead, we're gonna test some of the off-road ability of this vehicle. So, I think we have gone into all the features here. Oh, it also has hill descent control. I could be here all day. So let's get this review moving and go find something to haul. So my personal preference is for smaller trucks. I just find them easier to drive. But that said, this isn't difficult, honestly. It handles well. I can turn around even on these super tight roads, and that's partially because of the camera system, which is really useful. Honestly, if you get a truck of this size, the camera system, I think, is essential. I mean, the F-150 really is the pocket knife of trucks. I mean, it does everything. You can kind of see almost why they got rid of the Ranger. I mean, because properly equipped, I mean, these trucks start around $26,000 and they go all the way up to, of course, $70,000. So you have so many options. It's kind of crazy. But they handle great. And it just makes it a little bit nicer with this off-road suspension package. I now want to take a moment to demonstrate what the 4 different drivetrain positions do to the vehicle. Now we're going to start into high. We all know that's basically rear-wheel drive, but let me demonstrate what a corner looks like in that position. I'm going to go ahead and disable traction control because I want to really accentuate what's going to be happening, okay? So here we go. And you can see, clearly the back spins around. That is because rear-wheel drive. No traction control, totally makes sense, right? Right. So now I'm going to switch it to 4A.
The 4A setting engages a clutch between the front and rear output, adding power to the front when necessary. The benefit of this is that it can be used on dry pavement without the traditional shuttering of a four-wheel drive system, because it disengages before that's an issue. On dirt like this, it gives more traction without unnecessary oversteer.
Let's go ahead and switch into 4 high.
4H and 4A are very similar. However, when you're in the 4 high mode, the driver is telling the truck to be in four-wheel drive all the time. That means it never disengages until the driver selects a different mode.
So now we're going to go ahead and lock the rear diff and see what that does. And here we go. We're now going to turn and floor it. Whoa! Now that the 2 rear wheels are locked and spinning, it's really easy to get that overdrive into the corner. Now the point of that isn't for drifting, although it can be used for that. The real point is to even the power distribution, even in slippery conditions. So you don't have all the power going to the wrong wheel. You have both wheels turning at the same rate. And that's what it is for. So hopefully that was educational. If not, it was at least a lot of fun. Okay, so here we have a steep hill with some big rocks, and it looks like the surface is actually quite loose. So you're going to be really careful climbing up it. I'm going to go ahead and put the rig into neutral, stick it into 4 low, and drive. I don't think we honestly even need the diff lock yet on the back, because this looks pretty simple actually. Now this is barely wide enough for this truck. It's kind of amazing that we can fit in here, because the F-150 isn't small. I mean, granted, it's not like an F-350 extended long bed dually, but it is rather large. Honestly, for this kind of stuff, I typically prefer to have the smaller truck like a Frontier or a Toyota Tacoma. Great, made it up super easy. Okay, now that we're coming down, I'm not going to drive myself this time. I'm just going to steer. Instead, I'm going to use the hill descent control system, which is an option on this truck. And I'm going to go ahead and let the truck do all the driving. I'm going to go manually switch it down to 1, so it's the slowest possible pace. I see that I'm at a 10-degree slant right now. Oh, 10 degrees sideways, 9 degrees down, 11 degrees. I wonder how steep is the steepest portion. Now I'm not doing anything with my feet. My feet are just doing nothing. I can, however, tap the brake if I feel like I'm moving too quickly. Okay, so let's find something to pull. I think that right over there is a prime contender. Now we got this lovely camera here to show me where I'm lining up. Get as close as possible. And there's probably good. And park. Now, I have with me 2 tow straps. I hope they're strong enough. Oh, anybody else having flashbacks to Flash Gordon?
The beast lies somewhere in the stump.
Ah! 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 Okay, we now have a log of unknown weight. It's got 2 tow straps. I'm in low. I'm going to go ahead and switch the vehicle to tow haul mode. Is it moving it? I'm moving the bottom part of a tree. And honestly, I couldn't even hardly tell because there's so much power here at use. Taking it for a ride. Taking this log for a ride. Off-roading and hauling at the same time. Okay, so that worked way better than I thought it would. The only thing I would have liked to have seen is the ability to turn on the rear view camera while driving forward. It wouldn't let me do that. I could do it to line up, but once I was moving, it assumed I didn't want to look backwards anymore. When I'm hauling a tree, I kind of want to know what it's doing. So luckily we had a spotter here, so That worked, but you don't always have that opportunity. So is this F-150 with the new diesel engine any good? Yeah. I'm Ryan Douthit for Driving Sports TV. Thanks for watching. This has been my look at the 2018 Ford F-150 Supercrew 4x4 Platinum Edition with the new diesel engine. I hope you enjoyed it. Please be sure to leave a comment. Also, rate this episode. And you don't want to forget, subscribe, because we've got a lot of great new videos in the pipe and you won't want to miss them.